Hi, my name's Lindy and welcome to this channel. My website is www.lindycowling.co.uk. Email is info@lindycowling.co.uk, and the title of this video is Twin Flame Behavioural Excuses. Twin flame behavioural excuses, or excuses for their behaviour, or poor behaviour, shall we say. Now, the reason I'm bringing this out is, again, this comes up over and over again, and I like to bring videos out that are either very prevalent at the time or very personal to me at the time, or let's say an awareness or a knowing that I feel is really relevant to share at that time. And this is something that keeps coming up over and over again. It's a theme I hear every week, over and over again. So where I'm going to start on this is, there is a pattern pretty much all over the world of using the name or the label twin flame as a way of exhibiting behavior, and some of that behavior quite negative, almost by using that title or name as an excuse for it. So what I mean by that is, well, let's go on this side of the fence first. You can get somebody that stays on the receiving end of absolutely appalling, boundary crossing, violating, mentally violent, physically violent, narcissistic, psychopathic or sociopathic behavior from someone, because the person who stays on the receiving end of that believes, either rightly or totally wrongly, that this person is a soul connection for them, or a heart connection for them, or a catalyst, or a twin flame, or a soulmate, or a soul family, or some kind of connection, that they believe they should tolerate that behavior because the excuse for it is they are my connection, and one day they will see the light, one day that person will not behave that way, and even if they do continue to behave that way, I just have to sit and wait for them to kind of wake up and smell the coffee. Personally, in my own professional and personal experience, don't forget everything I talk about I've been through personally, as well as working with thousands of clients over a long period of time now, professionally, and specialising in this particular area for 9 years now, working in energy for 20 years, specialising in this area for 9 years. What I can say is, it is completely the wrong thing to do to stay on the receiving end of behavior that is not comfortable for you, that goes against your ethical or moral boundaries, that is distressing for you because of what you rightly or wrongly believe a connection is. And even if it is the connection you think it is, you still don't remain on the end of that behavior. There are no excuses for that kind of behavior. So if somebody is crossing those boundaries, repeatedly crossing those boundaries, and you are getting mentally, emotionally, morally, spiritually and soully pummeled into the ground, that is a time in which you have to wake up yourself and smell the coffee and decide, you know, this isn't serving me, this isn't serving me, this isn't doing me any favours, and you just have a decision to make there, your own personal decision. Do you walk away or do you step back? Do you make things perfectly clear and see if it changes then? Or, you know, like I say, there's only a few choices there. You either make it perfectly clear that that behaviour is not acceptable and the behaviour by the other person changes, or you walk away or you step back. I mean, there aren't really many other choices left. Also, though, let's go on the other side of the fence where, again, say somebody believes, has jumped up onto the internet, has convinced themselves that they've got a connection that's to do with awakening, or they've got a connection that is a catalyst, twin flame, soulmate, etc., soul family, and they wish to take some actions on it which they would never normally take, but they are willing to take those risks because deep down they've always wanted some kind of risk in their life, or some kind of excitement, or some kind of change, and they can use the excuse of saying to themselves, that's a connection for me, so I'm going to kind of do things completely out of character to what I'd normally do. Again, what I would say is, if you're someone who is affected in this way, it's to try and bring yourself into a space of balanced, objective kind of discernment on this, and decide, okay, what's this really about? And again, you could be right, it could be a connection for you, but it might not be a connection for you at all. And even if it is your connection, or a connection, a potential connection for you, there are always consequences of the life choices you make and the behaviour you undertake. So is that something that's going to be sitting okay with you in 3 months' time, or 6 months' time, or a year's time? Or is that something you're going to look back at and be utterly distraught and say, what was I kind of doing there? So you do have an element of control, discernment, choice here. And another element of the behaviour as well, interestingly enough, which is important to point out, is this whole kind of thing like this is a balancing act. I mean, I'm always constantly referring to that word as balance and balancing act. And whatever situation you're in, so whether you are married, or whether you're in partnership or relationship with someone else, that there is always a kind of balancing act, a tightrope here, because it's not just your behaviour within yourself, or your behaviour towards someone you feel is a connection to you, but it's also your behaviour towards the person that you're married to, or is your girlfriend or boyfriend, or you're in partnership to. And not only the consequences of that for you, them, and the whole situation, but also, are you using that belief system as a way of making an excuse for cheating on your spouse, your husband, your wife, your soulmate, your current partner? Now, the only reason I'm bringing this video out is it's something I see over and over again. Part of my role is to identify energies, identify potentially where people are at, and try and help them move forward, try and help them to see the 360-degree view if they can only see 60 degrees of it. Try and give them the tools, try and stimulate almost a wake-up call so that they within themselves can access their own source energy and see the bigger picture for themselves. I don't influence the choices they make. I try the best of my ability to show them the choices there are and the consequences of those choices based on that day. All you can do is base it on that day, so that they realise there are consequences for their behaviour, whether they sit and do nothing or sit and do something. There is always, let's say there's always a cause and effect, really, which there is. So again, I'm just bringing this out because it's something that comes up regularly, pretty much every week, and it's come up again this week. And really, so that people watching this, whether they are going through an awakening process through one of those templates, or whether they are the husband or wife or partner of someone that is going through an awakening process with one of those templates. And really is to bring that balanced perspective again of, is the behaviour that you're engaging in a behaviour that you're comfortable with, that you're authentic with, that you're, I'm not going to say proud of, but would it be a behaviour that if you looked back over your shoulder in a week or two time, you'd hold your head in your hands and say, what the hell was I doing? You know, how could I treat myself like that? How could I treat my connection like that? How could I treat a husband, wife, partner, current boyfriend, girlfriend like that? It is a balancing act. It's walking on eggshells. It's really being true to yourself and authentic to yourself. It's doing the best you can to live that truth without compromising it, but without willfully and destructively harming yourself by doing that, but also without willfully or destructively harming those around you. It is a balancing act. You cannot be all things to all people. There is always someone in that spectrum that will feel you could have done more or should have done less. All you can do is try and be genuine and honest and authentic to yourself. Not everyone will admire that. Not everyone will respect that. Not everyone will reciprocate it. They won't be able to be genuine or authentic themselves. In that sense, you can't have responsibility for everybody else's actions. You can only just be as genuine and as gentle and as authentic as you can within it. And yes, it is complex. It's a bit of a minefield. Being a human being in the relationship arena is a pretty big minefield, let alone when you're going through an awakening process. So in closing, so I want to keep this video short, it's just a way of checking in with your own behaviour, your personal behaviour. How are you in relationship to you? I mean you as within yourself you, because the relationship with yourself is the trampoline for all your relationships with others. So it's looking at your behaviour. Are you being triggered into behaviour that's appalling for you, or completely out of character for you? How is your behaviour on a daily and weekly basis? How are you behaving towards a connection? How is a connection behaving to you? How are you behaving in relation to someone that you may already be in a relationship with, or in a connection with, or in a marriage with, or a partnership with? There is, in a way, a moral responsibility for your behaviour, and I don't say that with any judgment. I'm talking about taking responsibility, because we all have a responsibility for whether we turn left or right, our life choices, and there are always consequences of that. So I'm just trying to bring a balanced perspective here. It's hard to have that balance when you're in the middle of that, and emotions are running very high. Chemistry is running very high, hormones are running very high, triggering is running very high, pain bodies, are going crazy. It's hard for people to have that balance. So this is really a balanced perspective in the prompting for you, whatever end of that spectrum you're on, and however you're involved in something like that, whether it's you personally, your connection, or you're someone that is watching your husband and wife behave in ways that are uncomfortable. This is a balanced perspective at trying to look at the bigger picture, and as best as you can, rather than a knee-jerk response, trying to look at everyone's perspective. As I say, you can't please everyone. Nobody on earth can be everything to everyone. all you can be is true to yourself, genuine, and just try and do the best you can. And that has to be good enough, because that's all we have. On that note, I'll love you and leave you. As always, thank you for subscribing to my channel. If you are one of the dear people, the dear souls that have donated to this channel, to me, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thanks for watching the videos. Thanks for booking your sessions. In regards to sessions, I am extremely busy at the moment, and I'm booking about 6 weeks ahead. So I do have session availability in April, but I don't have anything left for March. So you will have to factor in a 4 to 6 week wait. But I am still doing the one-to-one sessions, so you're welcome to make a booking. Thanks for watching, guys. See you again soon. Loads of love. Bye.